Lonnie's good.
I'm good.
Let's go.
This is Gilbert Gottfried in New York, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
A podcast that blends a COVID-safe scooter lifestyle with a twist of the paranormal over a cool cocktail. Join us on this larger, heterogeneous, grizzled crew for our adventures in the afterlife. Isn't that right, Mark?
Yes. So you're pretty close.
Yeah, as we visit classic pubs, dive bars, and haunted taverns up and down the West Coast. Now, this isn't safe, but then again, a lot of things aren't safe in life anymore.
Nor is it smart.
That's right. It's not smart either.
I'm kind of wondering what happened to our 1 drink per hour disclaimer.
Well, if you noticed, you got here about an hour ago and you're on your third.
This is a good point.
So welcome to the first real episode of 2021, our iconic number 50.
Wow.
You know, it might be a good place to stop.
After every one of them, you think that. And this one is called Patio Bars and Pavement Scars.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah. Well, you inspired it. So we share our stories of laying down the scoots and bikes through our careers of crashing into, onto, over things. We'll also continue to chronicle the local patio and tent bars in the area. They're an absolute lifesaver for us barflies that need a social spot to share stories and have a drink. There really is. There's simply something different about having a beer or wine or, in your case, Mark, a cocktail in a bar setting because it's the changing social event that happens. Right. You know, everybody goes, why don't you just have a drink at home? Well, you know what? There's no judgment when you're in a bar.
Yeah, that old song and dance?
Yeah. You're having a drink at home and it's like, oh. And the servers, they're happy to bring you a drink. And how is it at home? Oh, you're having another one?
They're not working for tips, just the tip.
So anyway, that judgment is served with abundance at home.
You guys don't live in my house, I'll tell you that much.
Hey, and we're also debuting another new song from Weeknights that's been dropped recently, and they had a nice review on glidemagazine.com.
Nice.
So if you go there, you can listen to it, or all you have to do is wait to the end of this podcast, and we'll be playing it.
Weeknights are on their way up, for sure.
Well, they're on their way.
So if they have to wait till the end of this podcast, it's probably better off just go to the website.
Right. Yeah, you have to work your way all the way through it. We're also covering our initial impressions of the Domio Pro helmet communication device.
Yeah, I got a couple of things to say.
Yeah.
Is anybody going to hear you?
Probably not.
All right. Hey, have you told your scooter and bar friends to listen to our podcast? We're in need of some guerrilla marketing out there. We're a little bit, I don't know. Our downloads are just trending absolutely flat when they're great. They were growing, and then now they're a little bit flat.
Is this like DC?
But flat at our highest level.
Oh, we're plateauing then.
So maybe, a kind word online, maybe with Facebook or
Are we
Apple.
doing what has happened in DC, a change of policy here? Because weren't you off the begging for viewers?
Yes. Yeah, it has to do with our new president.
And you're back on that?
You can listen to us on Spotify. You can listen to us on iHeartRadio, Pandora, Alexa. We even have our own Alexa skill. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Wow.
Yeah, we have people listen to us on there. They go, Alexa, let's listen
turn
to
that
Chasing
shit
Ghosts
off.
on Scooters and Bars.
That's going to be purely accidental.
Hey, this is kind of cool. We continue to trend upward in India, and we are extremely grateful for that. Thank you.
We are.
Yeah, I'd love to ride there and find some ways to get in trouble. Because if we did, I don't know if we'd be leaving.
Well, based on our title, I don't think we'd make it through the first intersection in India. Those places are crazy.
Right. They do.
We'll lay them down
They're
there.
better than we are.
A lot of
they go
scooters
around.
over there.
And we have a whole bunch of new listeners in Northern Europe, Norway, Denmark, Sweden, the Netherlands, and even Lithuania. But what's missing, Mark?
Switzerland.
Switzerland. And this is your home country? You have dual citizenship?
I do, but I've warned
You
them.
have family?
I've warned them.
What the fuck?
Family here doesn't even listen to this.
Wasn't it Macy that said Lizard needs his own podcast because she
Yeah.
listened to it once?
Yeah.
Love you, Mace.
Yeah. So we have a full podcast crew today and even some new technology with 5 full microphones and headphones, an array, really. And hopefully it'll work out with a minimum of editing, gentlemen.
So it's about you again.
Yes. So let's get busy. What do you think with some stupid fun facts, scooter news, spooky news, scooter crashes, and patio bars?
All right.
All right. You're going to have to report in what's been going on. Mark?
Well, I may have convinced my wife to green light a potential new scooter.
Yeah, what do you got your eye on?
Whatever we saw down in San Diego.
That was a BV 350 or a BV 500? I can't
I've
remember.
always got my eye on the beaver.
I think it was a 350.
Was it? Are you
Yeah.
going to go to the 350 or 500?
Oh, I
Remember, it's going to be another 16 years before you get another one.
right. I don't know. I'm just going for something. I'm waiting for you actually to get your
Nope,
store up and
we're not going to talk about that. Lizard,
Yo.
you cheated on our friend Andrew at Vespa
No, I did
Portland.
not.
Yes, you
No,
did.
I did not.
Tell us what's going on.
you dirty whore.
I set out to buy a new scooter, and Andrew had the same one in stock that the one I bought in Seattle, but he sold it a couple days before I inquired. So I called him. We talked. He gave me his blessing. He gave me some advice, and I purchased from.
And he's never going to talk to you again.
No. We're on good terms. We're good. And so I got myself a new GTS 300 SuperTech HPE badass motherfucker.
Yeah, what color?
It's, for the lack of my
Color palette.
Italian, gray.
Shiny or
Shiny gray. Yeah, it's not a flat one. It's a shiny gray. Yeah, battleship gray.
I thought you were going to write it down.
No, I'm not going to hang around with you guys with that nice scooter.
I get it. You've seen mine, right? It's badass. Pendominono, what about you, Keith? What's happening?
Well, we're hoping to bring home a new scooter today for my wife. So cross your fingers. That works out.
Another member in the family.
Another member in the family, filling up the garage. without
Well,
a doubt.
I moved mine out. I moved 2 of them out.
You did. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I'm sure your wife was letting you know, when's Mark going to pick up those scooters?
Not a word. Not a single word. But got one guy with a deposit on it in front of me, and if he doesn't do it, I'm going to go get it today.
Nice.
So
What
that's
is
exciting.
it?
It's a Buddy 170i.
And this is for Mary, right?
This is for Mary. That's correct.
And she's going to ride.
Well, she says she is.
So, I'm going to see that yellow scooter in the corner there?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my wife's scooter.
Yeah. So
Oh, the
we'll
one
see.
with the
But
dust on it.
The one with all the clothing.
I can always, if it doesn't work out, I can always turn it around. So
All right. And Chong, what about you? Are you looking for a new bike?
Yes. Some kind of a dual sport. Anyway, it's I've been looking at the Triumph 900, not the 1200.
And that's a dual sport?
Yeah, yes, they have a dual sport.
And that's what you're looking at?
Correct.
And have you ridden it yet?
I have not.
Okay, tell us a little bit about it.
It looks just like that KTM outside.
All right, Bob. Always fun to have you here.
are those, is that a chain? That's chain.
It's change drive, yeah.
So Bobby, are you going to go back and do some trail riding, or what's your goal? What's your plan? What's going on?
Just to have something I can take off the road because the Harley doesn't do well on gravel.
Oh,
right?
pussy.
How about your scooter? It does okay on gravel.
Yeah. And then also looking at the Moto Guzzi, they make a dual sport now too. And then Harley's going to come out with one, as you know. So I'm just going to wait until I get to look at them all.
So the Moto Guzzi is a Vespa product, a Piaggio product.
Well, that makes it all the sense in the world.
Yeah, it does. So there you go.
Well,
I guess we caught up with everybody.
What about you?
Yeah.
Tell us about yourself.
Well,
How's your journey?
I've been busy. I've been getting ready for the virtual boat show. We're doing a little online. Well, the the local trade association is doing an online virtual show, great big one. And
This is your big show of the year, right?
yeah, typically, yeah, but it's going to be a little different. It's a hybrid deal. But we went ahead and sponsored it. We're the presenting sponsor.
And you know what? I'm still coming up there because you and I have a tradition of me going to the boat show and you buying me drinks.
Right.
And so one way or another, next weekend, we're going to do that.
Okay. I did take a fast trip to Fort Lauderdale. I ran a proto boat, the new Boston Whaler 405 Conquest, out on the ocean, looking at the beach and all the hotels and condos on the front in Fort Lauderdale. Running at about 50 miles an hour with 400s on it.
And that's
Mercury.
that's a 40-footer.
Going 50 miles an hour with a cabin.
400s on the back.
Yeah, 1,600 horsepower. And I was wearing short sleeves and kept my mouth shut and took a ride. It was great.
Were you out hanging on the bow and yelling, "I'm king of the world"?
No. I was hoping there was a pound of cocaine in it. We were out running. The gunboats were out there all over the place, and they pulled people out over. It was amazing. So, yeah, that was a good trip. I'm also reading my second book on the Tao Te Ching.
Did you not figure it out in the first book?
No. You know why? This one's called The Tao Made Easy.
Tao for dummies.
Do you know what? You know what I think it is? It's the Tao Te Ching. Like this guy will spend some more ching on my books.
Exactly.
This one's, like I said, it's called The Tao Made Easy: Timeless Wisdom to Navigate a Changing World by Alan Cohen.
So do you have a pearl for us?
He's from Hong Kong.
Yeah, I got a pearl for you. Here's a Lao Tzu quote. He's the one that did the original Tao Te Ching. He said, having without possessing, acting with no expectations, leading and not trying to control. This is the supreme virtue.
Okay, that's,
Wait.
that's too long.
Wait. So
That's from chapter 30.
Let's back up a little bit. So leading without having control.
I was going to jump in on that as well.
You're a control fucking freak. That you might as well scratch that from the record.
This is why I'm reading the book.
This is what's Shelbert's old attorney show.
Perry Mason.
Perry Mason. Strike that from the record.
Yeah. Please read it twice.
Yeah, so anyway, it's having without possessing. How's that new scooter, Lizard?
It doesn't matter. It's just a thing.
It's just a thing.
Yeah.
And speaking of you sent me a little picture the other day, and you found that copy of Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now.
I did.
And I gave it to you about a year ago. Where was it?
Well, it was under the couch. And we got a new carpet and had to move the couch, and bing, there it was.
There it was.
Yeah.
And, those things come to you when you need them the most.
Right.
So my question is, the person that comes in and cleans, the cleaning lady that comes through,
Right.
she's not vacuuming underneath there, or
Yeah.
she's pushing it around when she's doing it.
Well, so the good news is we found the book. The bad news is I didn't open it yet.
It's actually for your wife.
Well, she's got a pile of books to read.
Okay. Stupid fun facts.
Here we
from
go.
Uberfacts.com. They sent us over a list. I thought they were pretty good. Pretty nice of
May
them.
I start it off?
If you would like to, yeah.
sure,
This
yeah.
is a good one.
The human head stays conscious for about 20 seconds after decapitation.
Let's think about that horror for a moment.
I'd like to know how they know that.
Because they're still talking.
Because they're blinking
I see
their
you.
eyes.
I see you.
Come here.
They were in France, and they measured them as they came rolling off the guillotine.
And they did a study. Think about when you were a kid and you cut the head off a garter snake and it just kept wiggling.
I was
think
more
it's-
of a chicken man.
Yeah, but I think that's different than the head staying alive, isn't it?
That's a good point.
Hey, Keith, speaking ahead, 20 seconds, is that about right?
Oh, I get it.
Hey, why don't you take the second one?
Oh, well,
Another
this
shot.
This is good news. Gray hairs can naturally regain their original color when we feel less stressed.
So every one of us almost has gray hair in here.
Oh, well, gray is my original color.
With all your reading, why are you so stressed?
I'm getting there. Have you noticed some color coming back in?
Not really.
Just your red eyes.
Just the tips.
The bloodshot
Dirty
eyes.
blonde.
So I think that's pretty cool that if we started living a more relaxed life, our hair color will come back to its natural full blondness
So we have to get divorced.
with highlights.
So divorce is our answer.
Yeah. But
I've tried that. It doesn't work.
Hey, Bobby Chong, why don't you take number 3, because this one is for you.
56% of parents with a favorite child prefer the youngest. That's true.
Yep. That is true. And who's the youngest?
Margot.
No, I am in our family.
Well, that's
You're the
given.
middle child.
It was true. It was sure true in my family, and it's true for me too because I have 3 boys and a girl, and she's
the
my
young-
favorite.
Yeah. I just thought that was hilarious. So
I should have had a third kid then. I'm still waiting.
No comment.
all right, Lonnie, I think you're up.
Number 4, saying the F word when you're in pain can boost your pain tolerance by 33%.
This is where Keith goes, how do they know?
Yeah.
Well, this one I could honestly I could see this one. You could test this one.
You know, when Keith sits in, he always questions the facts of everything we talk about. Why is that?
You know what? That's
I was,
one. That's
I
one.
was taught to question.
He's a thinker.
That's one of the things I like about him. Yeah,
Question
he's-
authority.
Yeah, exactly.
This is for you, Mark. Costco has no limit on food samples.
Thank God. But they don't. But it's got to get out of COVID.
Oh, they're not doing it?
No,
That's why there's no limit.
Mark,
I think they're just handing
when was
out
the last time
coupons
you
or
were at Costco?
Yeah, you're exposing yourself right now.
Must be nice.
What are you talking about?
I went to 3 grocery stores yesterday alone.
Well, that must be nice for Teresa, for T-Bone. Okay, Mark, you're up again.
I can't. It's too small for too big a red. It's too many.
Okay, this is really cool. Portland, Oregon began generating clean energy by replacing several old water pipes with new ones that include turbines, which produce electricity from water that's already flowing under the city and are expected to generate over $2 million worth of renewable energy by 2020. I mean, that is smart.
Well, it's
shit.
2021.
I meant by 2030. How's that sound?
All right.
Or by 2021. I don't care what year it is.
that's
I just
Portland?
liked it.
And it only cost $1.2 billion to put it in.
Yeah, that's Portland right there.
You know what? Portland won't be around in 2030.
In order to get the head to do that, they had to raise the dams. So what? We don't need salmons anyway. Salmon anyway.
That's
This
a
is why
resident
it's called.
engineer.
This is why it's called stupid fun fact.
Portlandia. We can pickle that.
All right, number 7, Pendominono.
Psychopaths comprise about 1% of the population, but make up about 21% of CEOs in the United States.
What does that mean?
No.
They're driven.
They're smart people.
They're smart, but they're unfeeling, right? It doesn't bother them to knock somebody's head off, and they'll stay awake for 20 seconds.
I mean,
That could be.
Is that necessarily a bad thing?
A psychopath?
Yeah.
Yes. If they're killing people and burying their
Well,
bones in the
psychopaths-
backyard.
One person's brutal is perfectly acceptable.
Some
to
people
another
become
person.
CEOs.
Yeah.
And Mark, you'll love this. You ready?
Yeah.
No, you got to let him take this one.
He can't read it. He can't read the print.
That's right. Go ahead.
He downsized
Lonnie,
the font.
you
on
read
us.
it. You were there.
Humans that say, ow, even if they haven't actually been hurt. It's just a thing that they say when they think they might have been hurt, but aren't sure yet.
Yeah,
They say-
can you explain this?
How many
This
times
is what makes humans so adorable.
Because the lizard and I have witnessed this phenomenon. Will you explain it, please?
No, it really hurt. It hurt.
But you're saying ow before you hit the ground. So this is true.
And he
Humans say,
miraculously
yeah.
recovered the next morning. It was
I
just
did
fine.
not recover. I was
When-
limping the whole time.
Well, when we reminded you, and you go, "Oh, that's right," and you started limping like little Leave
That's
It to
not
Beaver.
true. I was.
I don't know, Mark. You were saying it when you were a kid. Inga would always believe it.
You were the favorite
There's
child,
our
though.
proof. Thanks, Bobby.
There's going to be some editing done on this one.
Keith, are you going to jump in on this at
No,
all?
I'm not. I actually do the same thing. I am owing in preparation of being hurt.
Here, Lizard,
not-
this might make you feel good.
Please disregard that fucking disclaimer. Big fan of the lizard.
That's how we change the
There's our
subject.
boy.
Thanks, Uncle Gilbert. Love you, man.
That's what time it is. Time for Scooter News. That's right. So we promised on our last podcast that we'd be covering the Domio Pro helmet audio with first impressions.
Yeah, let's cover this.
This unit that clips on the outside of your helmet lets you listen to music, has a walkie-talkie, and Bluetooth to your phone. And we all picked up one. Well, most of us, not all of us. Keith didn't. Pendominono did not, and it's probably right that he didn't. Below is a warning from webbikeworld.com, who gave Domio a pretty positive review for the technology, but not necessarily for the customer service. So here's what they say. Warning. This product is subject to much controversy and consumer uproar due to the manufacturer's poor communication and failure to reliably deliver the product.
That's a red flag, is what that means. Poor communication.
Many people claim to have paid for it and didn't receive it. We've asked Domio to connect with us to present their side of the story, but after an initial response, they've gone silent. And while we'll leave the review of the product stand, we do not recommend you purchase this product at this time. So there you go. There's some very upset people down there. Mostly upset because, for any reason or another, they can't get answers back from them.
Where is this product made?
Toronto.
It's a Canadian company, but the product's probably made by our friends in India.
Right. China, or our listeners in India.
Yeah.
But The product itself, just to kind of cover it, it's a clip-on unit that clips onto your helmet on a bracket, so you can pull it on and off, and it uses the helmet as a speaker, and you can hear the music inside your helmet without hearing headphones. It has a microphone in the earpiece that you install, and you can Bluetooth and talk on the phone. And then they advertise that they have a walkie-talkie feature, so with other riders you can have conversations. But once you get it, you find out you need to have an app to use the walkie-talkie portion, and they haven't quite developed that yet.
They don't have that app.
Right.
So
exactly.
it's a little bit of false advertising on that. Once again, beautiful packaging. It is. It's great packaging. The unit feels quality. It works. I can listen to music.
Right. It was a fair price.
Yeah. Well, except for the one we returned, Beth returned. She bought one full price for Christmas and then realized there were big discounts out there. Sent it back, and she still hasn't gotten refunded.
Right. I would say I installed mine on my full face with my microphone right in the front, and it seemed to work fine. Yeah.
Yeah, it does work. I mean, once again, it's more about how they're handling their business than it is about the product itself.
Right.
So,
But you did hear back from, right, Lizard?
I did a couple times now. Yeah. They're still working on it, but at least they respond. Yeah, so it's good.
So we're still waiting on the complete outcome of this.
yeah, I did talk to Andrew down Vespa Portland. He uses something that is called what did I say it was called, Keith?
Cena or something like that?
Cena. Yeah, he has the 50-something megahertz. He said early on it was buggy, and it seemed like there was a new firmware update every few weeks. He goes...
Talking to your mic.
I haven't plugged it in for a while, but he has a 30. He might change to the 50 at some point, but not in a rush. I'll upgrade once the battery can consistently hold a charge. So, he's having trouble with that one too, and it's supposed to be a great product that you actually put the speakers up in the helmet.
Maybe we'll have to wait till Portland gets up and running with their 2030
Well, you know
project.
what? I need to interject that my new 300 GTS SuperTech HPE actually has that kind of Bluetooth communication.
Not the gray ones.
Shit. Oh, yeah, they do. They're the best.
So how do you hook your phone? How do you listen?
I don't know. I got to call customer support in India.
Just so you know, just so you know, everything that thing can do, I can do with my hearing aids.
Exactly.
Well, maybe we ought to get those. They're only $6,500.
No, they're a lot cheaper at Costco.
I can pull up alongside you guys and yell at you, for God's sakes.
Okay, moving on. That was the funniest thing Bobby Chong ever said.
Oh, my God. All right. Guess what time it is?
I know now.
Time for a drink.
Time for Spooky News. And this is appropriate. Creepy experiences on a motorcycle.
Oh.
Yeah. This is from Reddit, a thread in Reddit. And I'll just read the guy that opened up the thread and started it out. He says, I figured there are so many posts like this on Reddit that we could get some interesting stories here. One of my favorite things to do is to go out alone late at night on my bike and just explore new places, preferably very dark, very quiet back roads. In my opinion, the feeling of being alone and completely exposed on my bike at night is unlike anything else. It's awesome. Occasionally, My late-night exploration takes me down pitch-black forest roads and into smallish towns where there's absolutely nobody out. Easy to creep yourself out in places like that. Anyone else have similar experiences? Even better, anyone here have legitimate creepy experiences? Like being followed, seeing something freaky on the side of the road, or ending up somewhere you shouldn't have. So
we've been places we shouldn't have.
Yes, we have, but we can't talk about that here on the podcast. So Dr. Nick Digger says, riding in Chicago at about 3 a.m., a van pulled up next to me at a stoplight. I noped out there, but not before a guy grabbed a hold of my backpack. I dragged him along for 15 feet before he tripped and he scared the shit out of me. Would have been a real bad situation. So this guy grabbed his backpack out of a van and he took off and drugged the guy and got loose. What do you think of that?
That's creepy.
That is creepy.
Yeah, that's a little scary.
Yeah.
That's why I don't wear a backpack.
Good thing he's a doctor.
Here's one from Ludu. Not really a creepy story. I was stopped at a red light and I was in neutral. Another guy on a GS XR pulled up next to me and we waved to each other. But the thing was, this guy was probably less than half a foot away from me. Seconds later, he puts his bike in neutral. He lifts his hand to grab my handles and starts revving my engine. My first thought was, this guy's trying to fuck with my bike. But when he grabbed my handle and started revving, I just sat there in confusion as he was redlining the shit out of it. He stopped, and I was going to have some words with him, but the lights turn green, the guy zooms away, and I'm riding along thinking, what the fuck just happened?
Wow. That's biker sex.
That's creepy.
Lulu, yeah. So here is Mr. Hall. Mr. Hall says, saw another biker in my rearview mirror, quite close. Black bike, headlight on, looked like a regular, upright, naked. I moved over in my lane to give him space. This was a country road, and I was behind a four-wheel drive, so I figured he'd both follow fairly close until we could both overtake. It's broad daylight. There are no side roads. Glanced back to check how close he was, and, well, he wasn't there. I can see several KMs back, and there's nothing. No one there. I don't know who the fuck I saw, but it creeped me right out. KMs are kilometers, by the way.
Very good. Yeah.
Thanks.
Here's one from Rip6. Okay, you ready? This is my favorite. More weird than creepy, but this toothless, crotchety old lady who seemed to be living out of her car stops next to me at a red light and asked, does my vehicle make you want to fuck me? So there you go for motorcycles. Spooky news. All right, so there you go. So there it is.
You should try that line.
Does my bike? Yeah.
Reminds me of Kingpin.
Sorry.
All right, guys, let's talk about patio bars. I mean, this is patio bars and pavement scars, or do you want to talk about pavement scars before we get to patio bars?
Hey, it's your podcast.
Let's do pavement scars first.
All right, Lonnie, you inspired this. Tell us what just recently happened.
Well, so a couple weeks ago, I was riding my Triumph, rather slow, turned the corner, and somehow she slipped right out from under me, and I wound up on my back. And I think
That's kind of creepy.
I think I actually slid on a white painted stripe, a stop stripe on the road, and I happened to be giving it some throttle when I was accelerating through this intersection, and whoop, down she went.
So were you hurt?
Just a flesh wound.
You can't keep a good man down.
Were you able to ride it home?
Yes, I did.
What'd you break?
I broke a foot rest or a foot peg. I scratched up the exhaust, the motor cover.
And now you're selling the bike?
Yeah, well, because my wife asked me to. And you know how I am.
And she said, you can get a new scooter.
And so I did. Yeah. But, thinking back, my first crash was on a 750 Kawasaki.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, way back in my 20s, I had a Kawasaki 750 triple, and I flipped it doing a second gear wheelie, and over I went.
Oh, so you were driving safe?
This is not safe, but smart.
What happened?
I was sober. Yeah, but over I went and scratched up pretty good. And then I did dump my Vespa, 4 or 5 years ago.
That one hurt you.
Yeah, I did. Broke a few ribs. But you know what? Scars are like memories, right?
That's right.
That's okay. We're still alive and talking about it.
So
You got out of your truck real slow a couple years ago.
I did.
yeah, that was a tough one. So you were pulling out of a grocery store, if I remember, and you were turning left, and you hit a I don't know what it was, a curb?
I landed on a curb, but I think maybe I was a victim of a same white stripe, like a crosswalk or whatever.
Yeah.
And but I ended up landing on a curb on my left side.
So all three of them, you were sober?
2 out of 3.
Okay, not bad. It's not safe or smart.
That's respectable.
See, now that is research. I don't question that.
Yeah. And I knew where he was coming from when he did that one. So, Mark, you had a classic crash.
I've only had one, yeah.
This one was huge. In fact, before we get there, let's save it because even the bike you were on is sitting here in the garage.
Yeah. And the man who patched me is sitting here.
That's right. I taped you up. Okay, Bobby Chang, I know you've crashed. Tell us about it.
Well, more than once, but I'll tell you the one where we were all there.
It's the first time this has been revealed.
I know. So we were looking for a tavern up in the woods on top of it's not a hill, but it's not a mountain.
Yeah, it's kind of something.
The Brooklyn Tavern.
Yeah, the Brooklyn. There's a dirt road that goes from basically Oakville up I'm going to call it the East Pass. But we were coming from the west, Highway 101, and we were driving on a rural road, paved, and
just us for the most part.
it was just us, our group. We were on one of our trips. But anyway, I was in the lead because I had been there before, but I went right past it, didn't realize that until after I was past it, and that big bull elk pulled out in front of me. And I slammed on the brakes. And so we were probably grouped up a little too tight, and we might have had a little collision right there at, I don't know, low speed, probably around 10 miles an hour or so. But it was, it's kind of quiet for a while.
So you decided to slow down, flip a left.
Yep.
And there was someone riding right to your port side there.
Yeah.
And we were all kind of looking back, and in he went. And I watched this whole thing, and it was slow motion.
I did too.
Even when I did it, I see you go up and him go crashing down, and it was a little bit.
Yeah.
Although, did you hit the pavement? Nobody hit the pavement, right?
I held myself off.
Okay.
I didn't go all the way down, but I did get hit with something on my left ankle that was
Ow!
yeah, ow. And so it stayed black and blue for a couple months, and then it was swollen or sore for about a year. So
I blew by you because I was on the right side of you.
Lucky.
I just
on the
about
right
heard the
side,
crash.
too.
And
I
go,
just
oh,
about
shit.
clipped you as well. Absolutely.
I was like, shit.
It was
I
a
just
tight
heard
one.
crash.
But, the good news is that was a good stop.
That was a good
a good
stop.
tavern.
Isn't that the one where he said, "Yeah, just go behind the bar, grab yourself a beer"?
I'm going to be over at my house, you guys. And then we go, what do we owe you? I don't know. What do you think it was worth?
I actually have a painting of that bar hanging in my house.
That's right.
right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a cool bar.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, Keith, how about you?
Boy, I've been very fortunate. I have a couple of close calls, but I have one very early on in my motorcycling career. Was up towards Lake Osoyoos in eastern Washington and was with two other guys.
Okay.
And I don't remember anything else.
You're rubbing your leg.
Is that what's going on? Sorry. So anyway,
I can't quit you.
Funny, Bob. Yeah, just up there stemming the rows, and
So what happened?
so beautiful roads up there. Been riding all day, and come to a fairly tight left-hander, and probably going too fast, but I don't remember that. And all I had time to do was say, "Shit!" And I'm into the ditch, over the handlebars, flying through the air, land flat on my back. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay. So I started moving my toes, moved my fingers, everything was fine. But bent the tire into the front fork, or into the pipes. And we're 200 miles from where we're supposed to be. So I had the ultimate shame. I had to ride bitch back on 200 miles to pick up a pickup truck to come back to get the bike and then drive another 200 miles.
Oh, man.
It
Wow.
ruined a beautiful day of riding.
Did you ride on the back with the strong left-hander?
This it was a Dutch rudder all the way home.
And what were you riding? Did you mention
that was a 84 GS 700 Suzuki.
Nice. You like Suzukis.
I just
Suzuki.
But okay,
I've had a couple of Suzuki.
so I would add that the best piece of riding I ever saw was when we were in Eastern Washington. You were riding that yellow scooter, if I'm not mistaken, and you went into a corner about 80.
You lost track. You lost track of the road.
A 90-degree corner, and I thought you were going into a tree, and you somehow pulled that thing out and around that corner, and that was unfucking believable.
I was starting to say my goodbyes.
That was acceleration versus braking.
I could have beaten you to that one, right?
Yeah.
Stay on the gas.
How were you feeling when you went into that corner?
I don't even think I had time to be really nervous, but I knew if I hit the brakes, did anything other than stay on the gas, it was over. So
yeah, I mean, you laid that sucker down. I mean,
that was amazing.
It was
like one of those races where their knees go on the ground.
What do we say? Not smart,
but fun.
but fun.
That was leak coming out of Mayville or something like that.
Mayville Days.
Oh yeah, Mayfield.
Mayfield.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow, that was a ride.
Luckily, it was a dry town.
Oh yeah, it was. All right, Mark, share with us your significant crash.
It was a wonderful July day.
We were on a practice run.
Training ride.
Training ride, and took my brother went along for a ride. And so he took my scooter. I borrowed your wife's scooter, and then then we went on a day drink.
We might have.
It was an early start, but I think we hit 9 or 10 bars that day.
I think I left after about 7 or 8.
You know, it was Lizard, myself, and my brother left.
Right.
And we made one last stop. We thought it was a good idea to go to the Poodle Dog.
After going to the Harbor Lights.
Yeah, that's doubles only.
Oh, man.
No singles. Anyway, so I tootling up the hill, heading around the corner, going a little too fast.
Feeling confident?
Were you taking a hard lefter?
Hard left again. Had a hard left. Yeah, I was kind of in a hurry to get home because we were supposed to meet my wife and sister-in-law. We were going to continue drinking at the house or whatever. They were doing whatever they were doing. And about 9 o'clock or so, and I went around that corner a little tight, and I think one of the pegs hit.
Yeah,
is my guess because it did earlier in the day, which my scooter's a little bit taller. But anyway, I went down in a heap, and I remember saying "fuck" several times.
Your pain tolerance went up by 33%.
That's right, and I needed it because I was just pissed more than anything. So I got up, got the scooter, got it home, and then my brother went to the couch. I went to the bathroom. My arm, I took my coat off or whatever, and I saw my arm. My forearm was split open, bleeding, and my jaw was like a dislocate or whatever. I kept trying to open and close my mouth to get that back in order. But Molly my wife came home, and she didn't want to deal with it, so she called you and Beth. You guys came over to patch me up.
Yeah, let me just tell you a little bit about that. I put a music bed to this because I was Dr. Mark on that day. You had a split down your arm that was about 8 or 9 inches. That went pretty much to the bone.
Well, now you're measuring your dick. It was only about 4.
Now I'm measuring my dick. And Beth came over and we held that thing together and taped it up.
One of you pushed it together, one of you taped it.
Yeah.
Shut. But I had two cracks in my jaw.
Right.
And a few stitches in the arm. And I will say, a week later, I was back on the road on a scooter trip.
In 1 week, we headed over the hump for a big ride.
Jaw was wired shut for that trip.
Yeah, we had to ask for a blender in every restaurant we went to so you could eat.
Some had them, some didn't.
Yeah, that's right.
You know I attribute that to big wheel, small wheel. You're used to a big wheel.
Yeah, no, I felt it earlier in the day that it hit something when I was going around a corner. But I was in a very good mood up until that point. And then it wasn't so good anymore.
Yeah.
So you broke your jaw, you split open your arm, and we even met that PA, that physician.
Yeah, very nice, but her voice.
She was a squeaky girl.
Oh. Yeah, she redid because on one of our nights, you might have taken another tumble. The lizard tripped me, and I just peeled open my scab, which I just gotten the stitches out before we left. And that started bleeding again. But,
did she restitch or just?
No, she didn't restitch, but she rebandaged.
Right.
My arm was swelling up though on that trip.
We were in a golf course
I
bar.
thought, yeah, perhaps I'm going to have to amputate. At that point, I would have gotten an eye patch.
So yeah, I'm lucky enough not to have been on a bike when I crashed it, but I crashed my bike without being on it.
Which is almost harder to do than
I
anything.
know. It was a morning. I had it on its kickstand. It was running, and we were going to the local golf course for breakfast, and I was bungee cording 2 golf clubs to the front of my scooter, and so
That's a real smart idea.
yeah. So they were, and I just wanted to test the steering. So I reached over from the high side. It was on the kickstand on the low side. I reached over from the high side, the right hand on the throttle, left hand, and I spun it around. And all of a sudden, with that movement of the turn, the bike started revving up, and I'm trying to hang on to it, and I can't let go, and I didn't know what to do. So I just let go of both handles, and by itself, it drove down the driveway for about, 15, 20 feet. And then she crashed over to the side. I lost a good putter that day. And I did have a pretty bad rash on that thing. And that's where all the stickers came from on Old Red.
That's when it all started.
Yeah. I put a Band-Aid or 2 on it.
Mark, I would say you had another mishap on a 2-wheeled vehicle. Did you not?
Oh, you want to talk about a mini bike?
I just remember my pops chasing you down the road on somebody's mini bike.
Oh, yeah. I was about, 9 or 10.
Well, now the truth comes out.
Yeah. And, who were your neighbors?
Rex Sutherland.
Rex Sutherland had just gotten a brand new mini bike, and he was riding it up and down on the road in front of our house. And I was like, "Let me ride that. Can I ride it?" No, I'm not allowed to let anybody ride it.
I don't know why.
And I finally had my first taste of being a salesman, and I finally talked him into it.
Here comes
I'll
Eddie
be
Haskell.
fine. I was fine. And I jumped on it, and I took off, and the throttle stuck.
Oh, sure it did.
I was full throttle.
Something stuck.
You've always had a strong right hand.
And down the hill past Norway's all the way around by Doug Cloud's house. And I go, I'm coming to that corner. And, around that corner is a cliff on the other
It's
side.
another left.
It is a left. And I said, guess what? And I just drifted over into the ditch and rolled over 3 or 4 times. And I remember your dad telling me, you know what you were yelling? I go, no. And he goes, Mom.
I did just. And I know Dad was saying Rex Sutherland he's going to sue me. He's going to sue me.
Yeah.
He's going to sue me.
So I never got to ride his mini bike again after that. I'm not even sure he got to ride it after that. So yeah, that was my crash.
So you ruined somebody else's childhood.
I did. He hasn't really. I had to go all the way through middle school and high school with him too. It's like he just would avert his eyes whenever he saw me.
He ended up with a Kawasaki triple later in life.
Did he?
Too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a great
There you
big
go.
piece of land.
Did he?
Yeah, he had that piece of property where next to
that's
Fishman's
right.
down there. Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
and he was an FAA flight,
ATC.
something like that. Yeah, he's actually a really good guy, and it was nice of him to let me ride his.
You don't have to.
bike.
You don't have to say that. I'm sure he's not listening.
Yeah. Anyway,
Those are our crashes. Those are our pavement scars.
Let's hope that chapter's done.
yes.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit about patio bars, tent bars.
That's about all we got left.
Like I said at the beginning, it's different having a drink in your house than it is going out to a bar. It's just a different feeling. People are glad to see you.
Yeah, they're just nicer than they are at home.
Yes, and so every once in a while we need to get out there and have a drink. And it's been tough through COVID because many of them have been shut down, and we're sorry about that. But they're getting creative. They're doing stuff.
You gotta support them when you can. You gotta really feel really bad about those guys that are struggling because of this COVID thing, and they're scratching
because of our goddamn governor.
They're scratching to make a living.
Well, there's more than just the governor involved. There's all kinds of reasons.
Oh,
but
don't defend him.
So recently we did talk about the mill. We go there pretty frequently. It's pretty close. It's a good, steady service, nice people.
And when you say we, that's a lot of M-E in we.
Yes.
We also, the lodge just put up a couple of tents. Those look like they're pretty bundled up.
Yeah, I wouldn't go in there.
There's they have every kind of tarp over those things, but they are serving. And
Yeah,
it's
I
nice.
wonder if they stole from the homeless on that one.
Bob, you were just at Star Brass.
Star Brass has got a good, huge deck with cover and heat.
They have cover, but no sides.
No
right.
sides, no sides.
Where else do we go? Doyle's in Tacoma. We talked about that a little bit. But how about some other places, or patio bars or tent bars that are out there to quench your thirst and desire to be in a bar?
I went by Dusty's Hideaway up there in McKinley just a couple weeks ago.
That's on the list here. Yeah.
And they have the big deck around that place, and they added a little bit. They seem like they're doing okay because they have a lot of capacity.
And they've been going strong through the whole thing because a lot of their place really doesn't have an inside. It's all out, picnic tables and that kind of thing out there. There's also this new Jack's Barbecue down in Algona Pacific.
That is taking over the
old Golden Bear.
Royal Bear.
Yeah.
I think it's Royal Bear.
Which was
one
a
of those two.
huge old rock and roll club, and now it's a huge old barbecue joint from this place out of Texas. I think they have multiple locations, but they spent some money. If you go down there and see that tent, it's a big deal.
Well, everything's big in Texas.
I think that's Jack's on Airport Way and also down in Kent.
Oh, there they go.
Yeah, cool.
So I think that we need to go down there sooner than later.
Yeah.
And actually get a pulled pork sandwich and a drink.
Maybe some brisket.
So if we like the brisket, and then there's Farm 12 in Puyallup, the old Van Lierup's,
Old
daffodil
tulip farm or whatever.
tulips and daffodils.
Yeah.
Now, Mark, you've been there.
I've been there for a wedding. They've got venues and a restaurant area, and good food. They've got open areas. They got a closed but an open,
Including a greenhouse where you can go in and...
Yeah, they've got a greenhouse area. Then they've got this open area. Then they've got an actual restaurant part. So they've actually been able to stay open this whole time.
That's great.
And what's the story behind
food.
that? It's all geared towards supporting women and...
It's a not-for-profit ownership or group or whatever it is. All I really know is they have 7 girls.
Well, but all the proceeds for that go to support
Single mothers, isn't it?
single mothers and women that have had some hardships, and so that's 2 reasons to go down there.
Who's your papa? So then there's the Bourbon Street Bar and Grill came up. That's on Meridian. They have outdoor dining and a tent out there. I haven't been there for a long, long time, but
It's
they're
good.
New Orleans style stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have good ratings on there. What'd you have when you're down there? Shrimp?
What did I have? I think I had the jambalaya.
Jambalaya?
Which was really delicious.
Did you eat outside?
No.
It was before
Yeah,
COVID.
it was before. Don't forget the Forum. Forum has a tent out front and some seats out front as well.
But a couple of those down in Puyallup have it right on the street.
Right.
It makes me a little nervous if somebody comes in.
There's a hay bale there. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So the Forum is where Dana works, and it's haunted. She told us a ghost story.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And so they have a tent out front. That's a good little place in Puyallup. Bud's in Milton. We were asking Bob. You said it's open.
No, we were talking about Dave's, I thought. Dave's
Yeah. Well.
or Bud's. I mean, Bud's is open.
But do you see a tent out
I
back?
haven't
didn't-
looked.
Well, the parking lot's full. I know that.
Yeah. And that's the kind of place you might not care.
True.
Well, we care.
So some of the restaurants are opening up with their garage doors and things like that as well.
Yeah, wide open.
Like the Spar out in Old Tacoma.
Oh.
Right.
You
Yeah.
can eat inside.
Yeah.
Cactus out in Proctor.
Yeah.
So people are getting really creative. The state has said, well, I know you're sitting out in tents. If you open all your windows, you get fans going. Do not turn the heat on. You can sit inside. So we stopped by Jersey's yesterday, Bob, and sat outside in their tent, and it was warmer than inside the building.
Correct.
I mean, it was blowing like.
Yeah, but there are some cold motherfuckers inside that place.
The top of Tacoma has outdoor seating up
Right.
there, which is a great 50s style lounge that has really been popular in the last 5-6 years. So it's been there for 50. You got the Rhine House, which is newly built, a German beer hall, and they have tons of outdoor
And games
seating.
inside.
Lots of games.
Is that the one on
It's right there in Stadium.
Division on Division.
Right.
Yeah.
this?
Never been there. Oh, yes, I have. Yeah. We have one time. Yeah, sorry.
Been there. The social down on the Foss Waterway is a huge outdoor decks, and that's looking at all the marina stuff down there. They're advertising that they're wide open. Come drink outside with heaters and that sort of thing out there.
So we have some options.
So what are we doing here?
Right. We're finishing up this podcast and we're taking a ride.
Let's wrap this up.
And then finally, we have, you brought up Dusty's, which is another really, really good place. So a lot of stuff going on out there. And I think in whatever city you live in and whatever country you're listening at, like India maybe, or Northern Europe, or England. We got people in the UK that are listening over there, Australia. I don't know exactly how you guys are handling your outdoor bars. Yes, Keith.
About this whole Scandinavian thing, I did join the Sons of Norway the other day. So maybe there's a tie in there.
You're doing a good job. You're promoting.
There we go. Exactly.
Well,
that's awesome.
One towhead at a time.
All right. And then finally, we just want to say thank you to everybody for listening to this. And I'm sorry there weren't any real ghost stories, but there were motorcycle creepy stories. Mm-hmm. But today is about crashes, and it's about patio bars and making sure you over-tip your servers and wait people. And also said that we were going to debut Weeknight's new single, which is getting some attention online, which is really, really cool. You can buy it anywhere. They're on Spotify, iTunes.
Would you just get to
Bandcamp? Well, I gotta promote it, man. You got to do that. So here's a new single, and thanks for listening. Copyright 2020 by Chasing Ghosts on scooters, in bars, and all music used by permission by Weeknights.